Okay, so we have an industry presentation by Lakshya Nangru, Associate Product Manager, Accops Systems Private Limited. Hi everyone. Am I audible in the back? Okay, perfect. I'm Lakshya Nangru. I work at Accops and we make virtualization and remote access solutions to enable organizations leverage their complete potential of their IT infrastructure. Today I'm going to tell you how you can make complete use of your IT infrastructure and become the international gold standard of education worldwide. I'm going to talk about 2 case studies and then we'll discuss how you can increase the intake of your students in your university or institute, decrease your infrastructure and IT costs, as well as improve the experience for your students while accessing the labs for different courses. Now I want you to imagine an institute. It's called Dynamic Global Technical Institute. It offers courses in computer science, artificial intelligence, machine learning. It has 5 campuses over Maharashtra and Gujarat region, and it offers industry trainings in CAE, simulation, CAM, other AI and ML trainings as well. What do you think the ICT lab of this university looks like? Can you guys imagine an ICT lab that this university would have? This is what the lab would probably look like. They would have 5 campuses, 4 labs in each campus, about 50 computers, managing an infra of 200 computers for all their campuses. They would probably be getting licenses and installing the required softwares in all of the computers. And they would also require slots to be booked for the students for various classes, right? So this is not quite an efficient system because it is not very effective use of the infrastructure that is already there in the institute. And the students, when they graduate, might not be industry ready when they graduate. So, because they wouldn't be getting a lot of hands-on experience in the labs that they have. So this is a traditional ICT lab wherein you have some computers logged in the lab, probably only accessible during the classes or when the schedule permits from the IT administrator or the lab assistants. These computers are also not accessible over the internet. You cannot access them from the campus Wi-Fi. You cannot use your own devices to access these softwares. So these are some of the challenges that this university is facing, and they want to overcome these challenges, right? They want to unlock the full potential of their IT infrastructure. So to do that, they decide to implement virtual ICT labs in their university. Now, what is virtual ICT labs? This is a concept where you virtualize all of your softwares and all of the required lab tools over a server, and then you deliver those over the internet to the devices that the students have, so that you can have lab classes even in normal classrooms. You don't have to book for sessions in the labs, and you can obviously learn from anywhere. This is what a virtualized ICT lab would look like. That is the data center over there, which has all of the applications. Accops can deploy all of those applications and deliver those to different devices across. So you can access it via campus Wi-Fi, over the internet, as well as in the lab. This provides a lot of benefits, right? You have reduced operational costs, your infrastructure costs reduce because you now don't have to upgrade and upkeep 200 systems across the university. Multiple campuses can make use of the same centralized system, and labs can be provided to all of the campuses using just one site. This is how you would ideally access these virtual labs over the firewall using safe authentication methods. I'll just go over this quickly. So what are the main features that you get from deploying virtual labs, right? You obviously get lab management, which means you can automate the schedules for different labs. You can schedule different sessions and create desktops according to those sessions. For example, if two people have classes for CAM and CAE simultaneously, two computers can spin up in the cloud, and one of those could have the CAE softwares and the other one can have CAM softwares, and both of them can use that in the predefined time slot, and after that the computer gets dissolved, so there is no standing infrastructure cost at all, and you can completely automate this process. There's also self-service, so students can define when they want to access the lab. So if a student is at home and wants to access the lab between 6 and 7 p.m., which is ideally the time college labs wouldn't be open, they can do that from the comfort of their homes, from their own devices, and have the complete lab to them, access all of the softwares that are deployed in the institute. You can also customize these desktops according to different classes. So if you want to increase the requirements due to a heavy operation or a project that a student is working on, you can completely do that. You get a lot of reports. So this is a feature that is very useful when conducting exams or trainings, and this is very useful because you get complete logs of what a student is doing on the virtual computer. If they are opening any extra tabs, if they are the ones actually behind the computer screen giving the exam, you can ask them to re-authenticate using facial authentication and have complete control over what all they are allowed to access. So this is not a hypothetical example, right? How many of you thought that this was a hypothetical school that I'm mentioning? Anybody thought it's a hypothetical school? So we deployed this for Kyoto University. It's the second largest university in Japan, and over 30,000 students are using these virtual labs there across 200 departments. Their goals were to increase the efficiency of the resource allocation, reduce their IT costs, and they were basically surviving on subsidies and funding at that point in time. And they wanted to reduce their operational costs so that they can be more efficient and actually survive through the tough times. They also wanted to enable BYOD devices and integrate this system with their LMS. They were using Pandas LMS, so they integrated assessments and attendance and all these kinds of things along with our system. So they got detailed tracking of what all a student is studying, how much time the student is spending on a particular software, and how much skill that person has gained. They were testing multiple products across the industry, including Citrix, VMware, and Accops, and they finally went ahead with Accops because of the integration support and customization we can offer. This is Professor Shoji. He was spearheading the implementation at Kyoto, and he has many benefits to mention for the university, for the professors, and for the students as well for this technology. For the university, there is a clear benefit of increasing the number of courses you can offer. You can offer distance courses which are very technical, and you can provide labs for those kinds of courses. It empowers faculties to be flexible and not be dependent on lab assistants or IT administrators for creating these kinds of lab sessions, reduces the costs up to 40% and increases the resource sharing, of course. So you would have very less number of PCs actually in use at one particular time because the concurrency is very low. But you have to maintain a lot of computers in order to cater to all of the students. Now you can sort of overcome that challenge by having this dynamic allocation policy with the automation. So you can create and destroy computers on demand, and you can flexibly increase or decrease your capacity. There's some benefits for professors as well. You can have control over which labs you want your students to access. On demand means that you will not need anybody else's support in terms of getting access to the lab. There's real-time access, so professors can actually showcase content from the labs within the classrooms as well. That means that you don't have to take all of your students to a particular lab, even if you just want to show 10 minutes worth of content on a computer, right? You can just do that on your own device. And there's multiple benefits for students. They can have access to these labs 24/7, use their own devices, and also people from faraway places don't have to really relocate to do technical courses, because those courses can now be offered using this technology online through distance learning programs. There's a lot of other advanced features as well. There's endpoint control, so you can scan which all kinds of devices are accessing your systems. There's capabilities for liveliness authentication, so you can detect whether the person is actually active or not. And actually, you can be United Global, you know. The example wasn't completely hypothetical, but it was just a random name that was given to the example. And you guys can also be this institute which increases the efficiency of their resources, provides seamless international standard experience to their students, allow them to access and study from anywhere, and obviously reduce your costs while doing it. The immediate impact would be that the experience would be much better. The faculties can access their office machines from anywhere. So if you have gradings to do or attendances to mark, you can completely do that over this as well. And there are long-term gradual impacts, which means that the perception of your institute increases. You get better rankings. You would obviously be compliant for the new age parameters that are coming in to gauge how good an industry, how good a university is. And that will increase the intake as well as the recruitment for your campuses, because you would be much more technically advanced, and your students will have way more capabilities due to the extended hands-on time they can get on these technical tools. So you just have to do two things to be United Global, right? How do you actually become United Global? You have to do just two things. I'm sure you already have an infrastructure for the directory of students, which can directly be integrated with the Accops system in your in-house or cloud server. So you can host Accops and allow that server to become the centralized depository for all your softwares. And within a span of 2 days, you can allow your students to access these labs from anywhere, allow the faculties to create sessions and lab trainings anytime automatically. So that was on the cloud. And you can also do that on premise. If you have your own servers, you can deploy Accops in your servers, and in a matter of 2 days, you can set this infrastructure up. We are available here at the booth if you want to discuss more technical details about it. And these are the advantages you get out of it, right? You empower the faculties, empower the students, allow learning from anywhere. You get advanced analytics for conducting examinations. So you're not dependent on trust factor or camera feed, right? Our autonomous system continuously detects which person is accessing the exam and whether they're doing any unfair means of going through that exam, and detect that. These are the current deployments we have. As you can see, we have a large footprint in Japan. We also have some footprint in the Middle East as well as in India. We have 4 School of Management using this, Pune University, then we have CDAC, we also have Manipal. And this is a little brief about Accops. We are one of the leaders in virtualization and remote access space. We provide these solutions to large organizations and corporates for work from home as well. And we definitely have a presence in the education sector for study from anywhere as well. This is our entire product suite, and you can scan this QR code and win some prizes as well. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you,